Hi, I'm Zach Waters, and welcome to another episode of WTF-STOP Photo Talk, where I chat to photographers about their life and connection to the world through photography. For those of you who are into photography, especially those of you who delve into street photography, you will no doubt know the name Boogie and what his work symbolises within that genre, and you won't need much of an introduction. For those of you who are not familiar with the name Boogie, he is a Serbian-born street photographer who left Belgrade after the civil unrest in the 90s and headed for New York. He's predominantly a street photographer renowned for his portrayal of raw urban life in often overlooked corners of cities like New York, Tokyo, Belgrade, Moscow, Bridgetown, Bangkok, to name but a few. His narratives are deep and dark. He's a storyteller immersing himself in deep within the street, tackling themes of poverty, violence and human connection with unwavering honesty. We talked about this in our chat, especially his time working on his first book, It's All Good, which depicts gangbangers, drug users and gang members deep within the projects of New York.
Became my life, the most important thing in my life. And I hung out there not to change the world. That's all. I think that's all bullshit. You know, when people tell you, oh, I did it, make world better place. That's all such bullshit. You do it for selfish reasons. You do it because you get something out of it. You get thrills. You become part of it. You live something. You see stuff that no one else can. You smell stuff that no one else. It's like being in a movie.
Boogie's photography is not just documentation, it's a form of storytelling that challenges perceptions and prompts reflection. With multiple critically acclaimed books and exhibitions worldwide, Boogie's impact on contemporary street photography is undeniable, solidifying his place as one of the genre's most influential voices. We touched on his approach and mindset towards his subject on the streets when he is out shooting. That back alleyway.
Look, I was just lucky, maybe. Things happen on energy level way before words are spoken. I'm pretty sure about it.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can say that can keep you alive.
Yeah.
In certain situations. There's nothing. I think that people recognize each other, especially these people on the margins. They're kind of more like wolves. They sense you right away.
Yeah.
They sense what they can pull off.
Yeah.
So either they do it or they just leave you alone. Or you become friends.
Throughout our chat, we discussed the different stages of his life, from his time in Belgrade to New York to Jamaica and his ongoing commercial work with the likes of Nike. Apart from his love of good street food, we discussed his time using film and his eventual transition to digital.
I remember back in the day when I was shooting project, I don't know, Nike campaigns on film. Man, you're waiting for your contact sheets to arrive, and you're panicking. Oh man, it's anticipation. This anticipation is amazing. And then when I remember seeing contact sheets for the first time, first pass, I'm like, oh, I fucked up. I fucked it all up. Then second pass, I was like, okay, there are a couple of good ones. Third pass, I'm like, oh man, I killed it. Yes.
Boogie is a free spirit. He's not tied down by anything, maybe apart from his family. He's a lovely, warm, entertaining person, which is often a million miles away from the subject matter he depicts in his work. He really thrives off the vibe he captures of those around him at any particular time, and he's just an honest guy doing his thing. I've been hassling him for ages to have a chat, but that's easier said than done, as he doesn't sit still for long. Anyway, I managed to nail him down, and I asked him what he was up to.
3 months ago, I was in Mexico City for some work for Nike. Did the Mamba campaign for this Kobe Bryant-inspired project by Nike. So I did a worldwide campaign for them in Mexico City. Before Mexico City, I was in Naples. I was in Rome. You know, Rome was also something to work. But Naples was like personal project. A friend of mine took me around these public beaches there. That was amazing, man. That was amazing. In the process, I discovered that using flash is amazing. So after I don't know, 25 years of doing photography, I discovered flash. Yes.
I was thinking that when I was looking at the stuff.
Yeah, seriously, man.
If you're on your Instagram or Twitter, you couldn't miss all of these Naples beach things.
I never used Flash before, and this is such a huge discovery. Sounds dumb, but that's the way it is. Great. And then I bought Flash for my Sony as well, of course. So now I prefer shooting with Flash, which is completely different than anything I've done before.
Walking on a beach, generally, taking pictures is just quite a tricky thing to do. Yeah.
No,
But-
look. Not in this case.
Yeah.
Not in this case. This friend of mine, Robbie, from he's local there, and he's been going to these beaches for like 10, 12 years. So it wasn't difficult at all. He's married. He showed me. He just handed it in a way. This Napoli work wasn't difficult at all, thanks to him.
Did you find people really open to you just popping the camera and flashing them?
It's kind of weird. These people got kind of popular lately. You can see these images, the tutto bassa image. You can see it everywhere. And these people, they act like pretty much like they're on stage. Each one of them has his little role, I would say. Somehow, I don't know how to explain it, but almost like being on stage.
Yeah, I did think about them as like the sun worshippers, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I coined a phrase with it. I called it, what did I call it? Beautifully brutal.
Yeah, and you have some skin cancer in the making, man. It's kind of freaky.
Yeah. But you know what I was thinking when you were shooting it? One was Boogie's using flash. He's using it really intensely.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking, what was he wearing?
No, God forbid.
Were you in your Speedos? Did you have to blend in? Did you?
I bought some weird hat, man, for €5 because the heat was brutal. So I looked like an idiot, which sometimes helps, I have to say. It helps when people think, look at this cuckoo dude, man. Look at this guy. Look at this dumb tourist. Sometimes it really helps being an underdog, or when people don't know what's going to hit them.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Are you going to do anything with this work?
Oh yeah, the book, actually, it's a zine. Something between zine and the book. It's coming out in a couple of weeks with this publisher from, I'm not sure where he's based now, if he's in New York or San Francisco. Not sure. Tour Dogs. I did a couple of zines with him.
Yeah.
Really stand-up guy. So we're going to do this Napoli Beach book zine together. It's coming out soon.
Are you in a situation now where you're putting a project out and you're finding maybe publishers are coming to you now to say, Boogie, we like this?
Yeah, you can kind of say that. I'm just too lazy to edit. I have to. The owner of powerHouse, he told me, he was like, man, whatever you want to do, whatever project you have in mind, we're gonna do it. We're gonna put it out. And powerHouse is really amazing. Great publisher from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm not working on it, actually. I'm lying. I have to start editing this new project, New York street photos over the years. It's going to be black and white, but man, I have so much stuff I need to go through.
I can imagine you have.
Negatives that I'm discovering right now. Oh man, it's fucking with my head because I'm discovering some images I've never seen before. And I still have a lot of binders in New York with negatives. So if I start editing now and putting together the book now, I know I'm going to miss shitload of stuff.
Yeah.
So in a way, I have to bring those negatives here and scan them. It's going to take me some time because scanning is a bitch, man. And editing is even bigger bitch. So there's something really nice in the process of editing and putting the book together and seeing the object, the final product. I mean, it's priceless in a way.
Yeah.
It's also some serious work. And you don't want to fuck it up. Of course, you always fuck it up. Whenever your book comes out, at first, you're like, man, I could have done this better, could have done that better, this is not good. Could have been better. Yeah, could have been better always, but could have been worse as well. So it's okay.
It's also easier finding images you miss with negatives, isn't it, rather than digital?
Yeah. Oh no, digital. Oh man, I'm so bad at it. It's impossible. But even with negatives, even with film, I remember I was I'm disorganized. I'm really not organized with my files, hard drives. And then you remember every image by name until a certain point.
Yeah,
Then everything goes to shit. You can't
yeah,
remember a single name of a file, and then finding certain image or high res scan or even negative, even worse. Finding a negative is impossible.
yeah.
A couple of times happened to me. Someone wanted to buy an image by print, and I just couldn't find the negative. I was digging for days and I couldn't find it.
Where's all your archive then?
Part of my archive is here in Belgrade. Part of it is in my lab in New York.
Is it all nicely filed and everything?
Well, it looks nice, but I don't know what is where. I mean, it looks really nice binders and everything looks perfect. But
What you need is your children on that, Boogie, and they should be your archivists.
the only thing my son cares are video games with his friends.
Yeah.
And my daughter is on Viber with her girlfriends, and my son is 13. My daughter is 16. Tough age.
When they realize it's their legacy and their future.
Well, yeah, maybe, hopefully someday. You never know. But I'm not gonna force them into anything. I'm not even gonna try. I mean, I did try. I gave my son a camera to use, and he was into it for like, I don't know, 2 days, maybe 3.
Yeah.
That was it, which is fine. You never know. Maybe I planted a seed. You would never know.
Do you not have an assistant?
Well, I have an assistant on need to basis. When I'm doing a project,
Right.
of course, in Mexico City, I had assistants and Digitex and everything. I'm not like an office assistant. Look, no one can do it for you. It's my stuff. I know it. I kind of know how I want it to look.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I need to do the work myself.
When you were talking about your book projects, you were talking about the black and white.
Mhm.
What project was that? Was that Tbilisi?
No, it's New York street photography, New York street stuff.
Right.
No, Tbilisi, I never done. See, I've never done anything with those images. Yeah, Tbilisi is amazing. It's an amazing city.
Any exhibitions coming up? Anything big retrospective of your work?
No, it's too early for retrospective, man. The best is yet to come. I hope so.
Really?
I don't know, man. I really hope so. I think around 10 years ago, I had an offer to teach at one of the prestigious New York art schools, and I refused because I feel like I have so much to do still, to shoot. And I'm pretty sure the best stuff is yet to come. And to teach students, if there's anything I could teach them, I don't know. You need to prepare. You need to prepare yourself. You cannot be irresponsible and just show up unprepared. It's just not okay. So I refuse, and I think it's still too early for that.
Teaching is sometimes a natural progression later on.
No, teaching is a beautiful thing. Doing a lecture here and there, it's a great thing. These students, they ask you something that you never thought of before. You get back as much as you give. You can actually learn something about yourself by giving lectures. I think it's great. I like doing that. That's good. That's a good thing.
Awesome. Take me back to the beginning where you picked up the camera. I'm aware your granddad and your father were amateur photographers.
Yeah.
What sparked you? We all know what was happening in Belgrade at the time under Milosevic and everything sort of was the trigger for you. But what happened before that? There must have been a point of picking up a camera. Was your father a real influence to you? Did you look at anybody else?
Yeah, well, he was always, first of all, he was really happy when I showed interest in photography. He was really happy, so he bought me my first some Olympus camera that was actually good for shooting streets. Some Olympus OM2, I think. Yeah, that was the one. I didn't know. I think that the shit that was happening around me made me actually pick up the camera and document it. And also, seriously, I'm not kidding. I think being behind the camera helps you preserve your sanity in a way in situations like that when everything's falling apart around you. I think being an observer definitely helps instead of feeling like you're participating in madness.
I can understand the trigger, but as you know, as a photographer, from not being a photographer to actually getting out, doing the legwork, that's a different thing.
Yeah, well, the trigger was, look, I cannot say I was a photographer at the time. The trigger was just violence. And okay, let me try to capture it. Let me see what I can do.
Who was influencing you then? Was there anybody, were you aware of the photography fraternity of the world? Or
Well, look, that was even before internet, not before internet, but I didn't have a computer then. It kind of was before. And I had no money for books. There was no book. There were no books here. You couldn't even buy anything, even if you had money.
Yeah.
I think that was a blessing. That was kind of developing on your own without emulating too much of anybody's work. I think that's perfect. That's a blessing, and I think it's impossible right now for kids growing up and for kids wanting to be photographers. I think that's totally impossible with this way of social networking and all of that. And you click and you see somebody's work, and then whether you want it or not, you're gonna copy somebody's work. You need to have your own stamp. You need to have your voice. I think it's much harder to find your voice now than before.
Yeah. What sort of photographer was your grandfather and your father?
They were amateur photographers. They loved cameras. I think it's more about that. It was more about liking these objects than taking pictures. They were like...
The only reason I'm asking that is not to sound naive. It's because when I look back at your Belgrade work,
yeah,
it was pretty good. From picking up a camera to actually creating really, really well-observed pictures. They're not snapshots. They're really beautiful stuff.
It was different time, man. When I look at my Belgrade stuff from even, I don't know, 2000, from 15 years ago, that stuff feels like if it were as if it were shot 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It looks like that. It was completely different. Colors were different. There were not that many billboards and posters and ads and all of that. It was just kind of shades of gray.
Yeah.
So right now I'm not inspired to shoot in Belgrade. From time to time I just hop in the car and I drive around Serbia, and that's a different world. That's completely different world. But in Belgrade, no, because it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's not bad enough and it's not good enough. It's somewhere in between, and I think I'm drawn to extremes of one or another kind. I'm not sure. It's not inspiring at all right now for me. When people visit, when foreign photographers visit, they're blown away. They love it. But I think wherever you are, wherever you spend too much time or like long time, you get sick of the place. And then travels help. Then you travel, you see how other people live, and then you kind of find your place in the scheme of things better. You can kind of see where you stand.
Yeah.
I think it's important to travel, to kind of go see the world and how other people live.
I think with the Belgrade work, there was a beautiful closeness to it all because it was obviously a meaningful part of your life.
Yeah.
But the final images, there was such a darkness about them. There were the way they were even printed as well. There was a blackness to it. It was beautiful.
Final ones on Twitter, on
X.
Final ones on X, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and those images, this is so weird, man. It's I've seen them over the past couple of weeks for the first time. I don't even remember taking them. I don't remember taking those at all. It's really like time machine.
Yeah.
Finding these images kind of, whoa, blew me away. And then in a way, it's good because then you remember what was happening in your life back in the day when you were, during that period of time. So it's really nice. Seriously, like some kind of a time machine.
What camera did you have when you were shooting the Belgrade stuff?
I started with Olympus. That was my first camera. And I just had, 3 lenses. 28, what was it? 2850 and whatever, 85. Now I had the 135 as well. But then I switched to Nikon. I don't know. I was using Nikon for like probably 15 years. Those were shot, those that I scanned recently, that was all Nikon. F3 or F4 or F5. I can't really remember. But Nikon F3 is my favorite camera ever. Beautiful camera. I like it better than Leica.
Yeah, the F100 for me was beautiful. Nikon.
Oh, that camera. That was beautiful camera. Because I have a F5 and F6. I have them here, and but F100 was so lightweight, and it had all the features even better than F5. That was beautiful camera. Yeah,
it was. It was just so compact. It was like, I think, was it the D90X felt so plasticky and like it did the job.
yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
And you'd have to put these bloody AA batteries in it, and then it would just conk out and break down. But that F100 was just, it actually had all the same technology as the F5, which the F5 was like a fortune at the time.
Everything in like smaller package.
Yeah. I think I shot 2 bucks myself just using the F100 and 2 lenses. It's just a workhorse.
Then of course at some point I had to buy myself a Leica, because I think Leica did the best marketing in the camera world ever. It's in all our heads. We all have the seed planted somewhere. So I had to buy a Leica, and I was using an M7 for a while. I still have it. It's beautiful. It feels like a handgun. I like that. It's a really compact, heavy little thing. Still have it, and then at some point I had to switch to digital. I was probably the last professional photographer that switched to digital. But eventually, it happens to all of us. And once you switch to digital, there's no turning back. In a way, nowadays I put film in my camera and it sits there for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, because you always carry your digital point and shoot, and it's just the way it works. What can you do?
Yeah.
And for work, it's normal. It's right now you wouldn't be able to survive shooting film because clients have to sign off, approve everything right away. It's just the way industry works. Normal.
Working in film for years really set you up working digital, didn't it? It's like
totally.
It's a totally different ball game.
Yeah,
but it taught you so much.
It's totally different. And I remember back in the day when I was shooting project, I don't know, Nike campaigns on film. Man, you waiting for your contact sheets to arrive, and you're panicking. Oh man, it's anticipation. This anticipation is amazing. And then when I remember seeing contact sheets for the first time. First pass, I'm like, oh, I fucked up. I fucked it all up. Then second pass, I was like, okay, there are a couple of good ones. Third pass, I'm like, oh man, I killed it. Yes. Man, different. Everything's so much different. But I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I shot film as well.
Yeah, it's a real leveler, isn't it, using film? Did you ever use transparency?
Not
E6?
Not for work. But it was always weird. I don't know. I never really felt it. I did use it, but I never felt it. You know how I look at it? It's like, okay, if you're a painter, but you never really used real brush and real paint, somehow I think shooting film, at least knowing the basics of processing and, developing prints, I think it's important for a photographer.
So the next step was you coming to America, and it's well documented about how you got to America.
Yeah, I think it's
I want to bypass that.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
What I want to look at is the build up to It's All Good, because you discovered who you were as a photographer.
Oh, discovered that I'm not a photographer.
You were out there trying to sort of find your way. The 2000s for you were mental in terms of your work output and what you were, Sao Paulo, Istanbul, the Belgrade book. What was the build-up and from coming to America to finding yourself?
Look, you basically understand that you don't know shit.
Yeah.
Of course, when you start doing photography,
yeah,
I don't know. It looks easy, and in the beginning, you just don't know what you don't know. You have no clue. You're nothing. You're nothing. The moment you understand how much you don't know, I think that's when you start learning in a way. I worked in a hospital back in the day. When I arrived in the States, I worked at a hospital fixing some medical devices. I would wake up at 5 a.m., go out and shoot, go to work, go back home, process my film, do some prints, and then all over again. Bam, 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 bam. And then you send your stuff around to agencies, to whoever, magazines. There is no response. You stop believing yourself. It's normal. Then even people close to you, they don't believe in you. And you get depressed. And I got depressed and I stopped doing photography. I was like, I'll never do photography again. Fuck it. So from, I think, 2000 to 2002, I sold all my equipment on eBay and I decided never to do photography again.
Yeah.
I started doing web design. I was really good at it. I killed it in that field. And in 2002, I kind of went back to photography just by chance. I don't know. I built a website with 20 of my photos, and I sent it to my contacts. And I don't know. I had like 30,000 unique visitors in a week, and feedback was amazing.
Yeah.
So in a way, made me think that I might have some talent and that I should maybe keep shooting. So I had my F5. That was like that was a mess. So I couldn't sell it. It was not very good shape. And one lens, I had that left. So I put film in it and I went out and I kind of started shooting again.
Yeah.
I was better than before, I have to say. I needed a break, which is totally okay. It wasn't up to me.
Had you looked at your Belgrade stuff again in that period, or was it just sort of out of your mind?
No, I never really looked at my Belgrade stuff during that period. Only later when I put out this Belgrade Belongs to Me book with powerHouse, but I never looked back in a way. I never looked back. I just started shooting again. Soon after I started shooting again, I started walking into these neighborhoods, into these parts of Brooklyn where actually it's all good happened.
Was it in Bedford-Stuyvesant? Is that the place?
Yeah, it was Bedford-Stuyvesant. Look, it was Bushwick, Bedford-Stuyvesant. Bedford-Stuyvesant, they call it Bed-Stuy.
Bedford, yeah.
It was Bed-Stuy, Bushwick, and some Queensbridge projects, which is Queens, not Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty much it. And that was, I lived in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. There's hipsters, a lot of hipsters. So there was nothing there to shoot for me. So I walked deeper and deeper into these kind of rougher areas. They were rough back in the day. Now they're very expensive neighborhoods.
Like £5 million properties. It's mental. It's mental.
Gentrification in full swing, man.
I know. Even High Point. Is it High Point?
No.
What's the other part of the projects up there? Is it High Point? Summit Point? What's the Point place?
Bushwick, Bed-Stuy.
Yeah. Property's mental.
No, there are still projects. There are still projects there, or public housing projects there.
Yeah.
And there is still criminal activities, but everything else is gentrified, and there are buildings and apartments with like thousands of dollars of rent. It's crazy.
Yeah, $16,000 a month.
Yeah.
So,
of course,
when I look back at all your work, and I've followed your work through the years, and I see this, you may disagree with this, but I see there's a few different boogies playing out within your work. Looking back at It's All Good, for me, that was apart from Belgrade as well, where you got in really close.
Yeah.
You were really close. It was consistent. And since it's all good, apart from Belgrade, but that was retrospective, you've never gone that close. You always go close, but you've never, I think with It's All Good, you were in their face all the time.
It's All Good. It's All Good was 3 years, 2.5 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, hanging out with same people.
That's it. And that comes across in that book.
You don't have enough time to do that many times in life.
Yeah.
Life is too short, you know.
It's All Good, I thought, reflected you rather than them. Everything you'd gone through, what was happening in Belgrade, you trying to get through life in New York, you coming across all of the gangbangers and the prostitutes and the drug pushers and all of this. And then, you know, it's recorded how you got into their life and how you maintained that.
Yeah.
But then the title, It's All Good, and the preceding years of the way you shot goes back to Belgrade when you're trying to make sense of all the shit, but in your head you're going, yeah, it's not just Belgrade, it's everywhere else as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. You're actually right. It makes sense. And also, I was going through some personal shit at the time. And then, listen to this. Then maybe going somewhere where it's even worse, where people have it worse than I do in my personal life, would that make sense? You're like running away from your problems by going into hell. Saying yourself, okay, look, man, my problems are nothing compared to these people.
And I think that's really reflective in all of your work.
Yeah, it could be. And you know, talking about It's All Good, 2.5 years, I hung out with these people, and I don't think you can do that even 2 times in your life. You know, I don't think you would survive. It would fuck you up mentally.
Yeah.
Trust me. All these things and having all that shit in your head, it has to catch up with you sooner or later. And not easy to kind of cleanse yourself, to get it out of your head. You can block it out, but it's still there.
As a photographer myself, I understand when you're taking pictures and you come across stuff which is like, wow, and you shoot it.
Yeah.
That's only a snapshot, because then you've got to stay there. You've still got to be there. And people don't get that. People don't see that. How did you cope with being there after you'd taken the pictures?
Well, look, it became my life in a way. The thing is, all these projects, people look at that as a project, but in a way, you get so involved somehow. And in the beginning, it's just a project, but then it becomes part of your life, and then it takes it over in a way. Then it becomes the most important thing in your life.
Yeah.
And I was
exhausting.
That's exactly what happened. It became my life, the most important thing in my life, and I hung out there not to change the world. That's all. I think that's all bullshit. You know, when people tell you, "Oh, I did it." Make world a better place. That's all such bullshit. You do it for selfish reasons. You do it because you get something out of it. You get thrills. You become part of it. You live something. You see stuff that no one else can. You smell stuff that no one else. It's like being in a movie. The craziest movie you can imagine.
You revisited that work about 10 years later, didn't you, you did a special edition?
Yeah. Yes, I revisited that work. Back in the day, I didn't even have the light box.
Yeah.
I would look at my negatives towards the ceiling light, and I would decide which one to scan.
Yeah.
Or to print. No, the first edition, It's All Good, I printed every single image in the book. I printed in my bathroom darkroom. I printed as an what was this? 18 by 24 centimeters.
Yeah.
8 by 10 inches. I missed so many, which is again a great thing. Finding those images is priceless, really.
Yeah, but you're a different person when you look at them again.
Exactly. If you don't change, man, then what's the point?
Nah, man.
If you keep
Exactly.
shooting same shit, same way, I don't get it. What's the point?
Yeah.
It means that you don't change as a person. You don't change as a human being. And whatever happens in your life should change you, or something's wrong with you. I mean, having kids, becoming a father, this and that. I think you have to evolve. If
Yeah.
you don't, and if your work doesn't evolve, it means that you keep shooting stuff because of your audience, that you're shooting stuff that is expected from you, which is,
Yeah.
I don't think it's okay. I think you should, for your personal work, you should shoot whatever you want, because it's your only
Yeah.
life. It's your only life. And if you're
Yeah.
in the peak of your career, that's when you should try new things. And if you fail, you do whatever. You try something else. It's okay. It's your only life. You have to live it like a warrior, man, not like a pussy.
I think your books, which preceded all of that, were exactly what you said, because I've noticed in the way you attempt to experiment with different styles and different ways of doing it come out in your books a little bit. And we just go back to the way you've just been just talking about Naples, where you've discovered full flash, and that's going to maybe be prominent in the next chapter.
I know.
So if you look, say, at your Moscow book, you shoot a lot of verticals.
Well, I don't know.
I thought there was a lot of verticals there.
I was cropping as well.
The pictures were fantastic. And having been to Moscow, there was a lot of symbolism in that.
Yes.
And you could see you were really pushing on the edit there to whack into them sort of symbols.
One of my best edited books.
When I first looked at it, I questioned, was he conscious of shooting verticals for the layout of the book? Because a lot of your stuff's horizontal, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of my stuff is horizontal, most of it. But lately, I'm shooting some verticals as well, man. It's, again, you have to do what you feel like doing.
Yeah, because you go back to, before that, when you look at Jamaica.
Yeah.
That book is mental.
It's all horizontal.
Yeah, exactly. And I just questioned that when I was a bit confused by the edit on that. I was like, what's he trying here? What is he doing?
I don't know.
I like the way you throw in you to it all, because I think sometimes you throw some curveballs. When you revisited your It's All Good, you left the scratches on the negatives.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I just wanted it to be as real as it should be, and it kind of captures the era better, I think.
Yes, exactly.
I think it captures the era better, and it shows that I'm not about perfection. I think perfection is so overrated in everything, in every part of life, in a way. I think it's more about soul. Like giving your voice, putting your stamp on it. It's more about that.
Yeah.
Perfection. Everyone can, it's all on YouTube. You can learn how to take perfect shot of anything. It's all out there.
Staying with It's All Good, the other thing you did was there were stories in there. You were letting people personally reflect on their experiences, and you did a key to it as well. You did the image key to it, where the pictures were and stuff like that. You were rounding off all the information to make sure you hadn't missed anything, in a sense. And with the storylines, obviously, I don't think you've gone in as close with your work emotionally and mentally as you had in It's All Good with the rest of your work. But have you considered using ways of going in close again, and maybe using audio and maybe adding some other dimension to it?
It's not something you can plan.
Yeah.
I don't think you can plan a project like It's All Good. It's impossible. You just have to follow signs and do what you have to do. You never know. I can never know what my next personal project will be, or if I'm going to go deep or not. And now, using audio, I don't know. I think you kind of have to choose. Of course, we all do some stupid clips, Instagram stories and stuff like that. But you kind of have to decide if you want to focus on video or stills. Just being one person, you cannot do both and do it justice.
That is a good way of looking at it.
You have only two hands and one brain. And I think you have to stay focused. You just have to stay focused because trying, these little clips, that's more about fan base and social networking, and I think we have to stay focused on the subject and on what we're there to do, which is do a book or a project.
No, I agree. And the way I was thinking audio was not as in depth as, say, finding a sort of storyline like you did with It's All Good.
I cannot say I think the point is to just relax and follow up and follow signs, and that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe with, they say, Sao Paulo and Jamaica and all the other places you visited, there's a noise to that chaos, isn't there? And I was just thinking, is there an audio noise to that? That's all.
Look, recently I actually found some clips. I'm going to send it to you. I found some clips from, because I was using this. I don't know if you know this little camera, digital Harinezumi. You know what it is?
No.
I'll show it to you. Hold on.
So Boogie's on camera. We're on camera, and he's going off to find the camera.
Check it out. Look at this.
What is that?
That's this little shit.
Oh my!
This is this little shit digital toy camera in a way, and it can.
It's like 1950s or something.
No, but it's not. It's this whole lomography wave. You remember? And this was kind of Japanese little thing. You could record, you could do stills and the video with this. So I shot some videos in Kingston, in Jamaica. Oh man. And the quality is like these first cell phones.
Wow.
Worse than 8mm. It's crazy. I'll send you the
please
the video. When you said noise in Kingston, that's true. There's overwhelming noise.
Yeah.
Constant music from really bad stereos, really bad quality noise. So annoying, man.
I'm going to explain to people who are listening here what you've just shown me. It looks like. Do you remember 110 format?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Instant 110.
This little Harinezumi, it looks like a film, like 110 film, pretty much.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. It's like something my grandfather used to have.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was a kid. Tell me about how you're working. I keep seeing stuff online where, you're getting fixes and you get somebody who's, in places like Jamaica and Sao Paulo. And
well, not fixers.
Is that really important to you?
Jamaica, well, it's important. Look, it's important if you want to go into some shit areas. It's important to have someone who has respect.
Yeah.
Preferably from that area, but who has respect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the key. You can spend years in some place and shoot nothing, and the right person can change your life in 2 days.
Yeah.
And especially if you're traveling somewhere, it's good to have someone from the country, from the city, from the area. Hey, shh, my dog. Hey, Net.
Boogie, it's not doing anything. It's sitting there really innocently.
My mini poodle. My mini poodle.
I never imagined you with a mini poodle, mate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love him. He's amazing. My dog is. Hey.
Your classic gangster.
Nah. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna have a pit bull or something.
He's classic gangster. He's got his poodle.
Yeah. I don't need. I know who I am, man. I don't need pit bull to tell people.
And he's got his Stone Island on.
Yeah. Stone Island and mini poodle. White mini poodle.
Let's go back to the work. Yeah. Like what I was talking about with It's All Good was a different approach. I've repeated that a few times.
I lived it.
Yeah, you did live it. I don't feel you've given yourself that amount of mental energy to the rest of your projects.
Well, because I was probably end up in a mental institution if I tried it again. if I spent that much time surrounded by people like that, I would probably end up being one of them or mental institution.
Yeah, and I think
there are two ways out of there.
Yeah,
man.
I always thought there was 3 or 4 ways you worked. There was the closeness Obviously, there's the commercial work, which you change everything. You using long lenses. You're like a polished pro. The way your commercial work's coming out, and good on you, mate. And I'm not knocking on that. And it's beautiful.
Commercial work is still me. I think that's the point. No one ever hires me and telling me, "Oh, we want it to look like that, like this." Because if you want it to look like that, you hire that guy,
Yeah,
not me.
yeah.
So they kind of hire me for my thing.
Well, it's interesting because I thought, well, that people like Nike and Puma and all of these sort of brands were bringing people like yourself in because they wanted that street effect and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, brilliant. If you can get it, you can't bottle randomness. They're trying to look at your work and think, we want that essence of street. But you can't. It's not something you put in a bottle and find in a commercial environment.
Yeah.
But I love the way you've adapted it. And I can see how you brought something into that and it was pretty relevant for them. I like the way you've totally separated your commercial work and you've gone in on the commercial work aspect. And you can see the traits of shooting corporate work, you do it. And that's really good that you can separate them. And I saw that. The other part of the way you work is whenever you bring a book out, I'm looking for the way you're looking at things. And there's key elements with your work, which you always put in there. One of the questions I was going to ask you at the beginning is, when's the book of Boogie Dogs coming out?
Yeah, dogs, I don't know. Or birds, man. I shoot a lot of birds as well.
Yeah, you do. No, I love the way you always get a dog in.
I'm going to do a book on urban animals in a way. I had that project in my mind, but it never really happened. But there's plenty of time. Actually, I could do a zine. You're right. I could do a zine.
You could do a Boogie Dogs. I think people would get that. In terms of what you look for, you love urban texture. It's obvious. I love people who are standing out, different. You love scars. You love tattoos. You love your guns.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Why is that important? Why do you feel when you go to Sao Paulo, you go to Jamaica, and obviously that's on another level, Jamaica, but that you're always finding them guns. How does that come about?
It's they find me, I think. Again,
there's Boogie.
No planning.
Get your guns out.
There is no planning. You cannot plan life. It's you just have to let it surprise you.
Yeah.
Look, in fact, in Sao Paulo, there were no guns, man. I was expecting guns there, and it didn't happen. But then in Jamaica, it did happen a lot.
Yeah. Them masks, man. That is just a disturbing picture. That cover with the masks and stuff.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, one of my favorites. But the one with the rusty AK-47. Yeah. I shot from that M16 that's in one of the...
How did that feel?
They let me shoot from it. Look, the thing is, there's people ask you, oh, you're compromised. And there's always a compromise because it's commercial work. The goal is to sell sneakers.
Yeah.
The goal is to sell sneakers. The goal is not to present me as an artist, but to sell as many sneakers as possible. So there has to be compromise there. You work with the art director, with creative director. It's normal. It's how it works.
I think you make it sound really easy. We've all visited big cities and we've all done, we've all wandered around in the streets. But there's a difference of finding a street and finding a city and then walking down an alleyway and staying in the alleyway. To be honest, most of these people don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
There's this guy turning up.
Yeah, of course. Why would they?
He's got a camera. And we all know how people can react to cameras, especially when you're sitting there dicing up cocaine and drugs. And
yeah.
How do you just maintain that back alleyway?
Look, I was just lucky, maybe. Things happen on energy level way before words are spoken. I'm pretty sure about it.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can say that can keep you alive.
Yeah.
In certain situations. There's nothing. I think that people recognize each other, especially these people on the margins. They're kind of more like wolves. They sense you right away.
Yeah.
They sense what they can pull off.
Yeah.
So either they do it or they just leave you alone. Or you become friends.
How do you maintain that? That must be exhausting. You leave your bed in the morning, you have your breakfast, you walk down the street. You know you're going to be there 10 hours.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. In Mexico City, man, I walked like 25, 26, 27 kilometers a day. Oh, that was exhausting and beautiful at the same time. It can get exhausting. Of course, you have to watch your back sometimes if you're in some shitty area.
Yeah.
For example, now when I was in Mexico City, I didn't really push it because the city is so amazing. Just walking around on my own was great. Just random streets, random alleys.
Yeah.
Everything was just so cinematic and interesting. Because I stayed, I did this work for Nike. That was 5 days altogether, and then I stayed 5 extra days for myself on my own. That was perfect. Had I stayed longer, maybe I would have tried to find someone local to take me around more and take me deeper into some shit. But I really didn't want to push it. I don't know. Sometimes you just let stuff come to you.
Do you speak Spanish?
No, not at all. Zero.
Man, you did well. You did well. I've watched a few YouTube videos on YouTubers walking around ghettos and walking around really dodgy places in Colombia, the Medellin, and all of these places. Actually, people are generally really nice.
They are. From my experience, yeah.
They are. They're just normal people. And we sort of built these reputations up that you're going to go in there and get your ass shot off. 9 times out of 10, they're going to embrace you and take you into their community.
I agree.
Spanish would be good, but...
Yeah, a bit of Spanish would be good. Maybe I should do something about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't speak any Spanish at all. But still, I was doing well in Mexico City, somehow. I don't know.
You did well, mate. You do go to a lot of good places with good food, though, don't you?
Food is such an important part of my life. I love eating well. I love Mexican food. Oh,
I bet it is.
I had a blast, man. I was eating like a pig.
Yeah.
All day, just eating like tacos and I love it.
You must have been in heaven in Bangkok then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Oh,
isn't it so good?
It's like third home, man. It's, Belgrade, New York, and Bangkok.
Yeah.
Oh, food in Bangkok. I can't wait to go there again. Oh, man, I miss it. I miss the food. So good. Poof. Mind-blowing.
You mixed a lot of verticals and horizontals there. You're really playing now, especially with the context of your work. You don't seem to care now. Black and white, verticals, horizontals. You're just mixing the pot, aren't you? Yeah. You're looking for things.
Oh, it's freedom, man. It's called freedom. It's beautiful.
What is next for you, really? Where does Boogie want to go in the next few years?
I have no idea. I really don't know. I don't really plan that. Those decisions you just make, I don't know, in a second. I have no plans. Again, no plans at all. No. I would love to go to Bangkok again.
Why Bangkok?
Bangkok, because Bangkok for me is perfect mix of enjoying life, which means eating in my case, enjoying life and shooting like a madman. Because good shots are everywhere there. I would love to go to Naples again, or south of Italy, anywhere in Italy, in the south, to just shoot and eat. Perfect balance of enjoying life and taking great shots.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to decide if my shots are good or not, but being inspired. Perfect balance between eating great food and being inspired to shoot like crazy. That's, I think, ideal.
How about Tokyo or somewhere like that?
Tokyo is great. Been there, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, probably.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It's fine, but still too orderly for me.
Yeah.
I like a bit of chaos. I mean, there is some kind of chaos there, but not my kind of chaos.
Before we round off, Boogie, because it's been really great talking to you. I wanted to have a chat with you for ages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put it into Chat GTP or whatever it is, the AI, right? And they come up with some questions for you. Are you ready? Right. What advice would you give to aspiring photographers who are interested in using art to shed light on social issues and tell meaningful story narratives?
Oh my God. I thought that Chat GPT was more advanced. My advice is not to listen to anybody's advice, first of all, not to listen to me, and second of all, to just follow your gut and do what you feel like doing, not like shedding light on social issues and stuff, because if you're in it, if it's your thing, it's going to happen one way or another. But my advice is not to plan too much, just to live life and do what you have to do.
Second of 3 questions. Many of your projects delve into social issues
Oh my God, social issues again.
Such as poverty, addiction, and marginalization. How do you navigate the ethical, this is ChatGPT, right? How do you navigate the ethical considerations of photographing vulnerable communities, and what impact do you hope your work has on viewers? There you go. Get on that one.
Man. My
Was that a
intentions
pass?
are honest.
I think we've discussed that one. Last one. This is quite an interesting one. Interesting one. Final one, I promise.
How did you deal with my conscience in exploiting the poor and underprivileged? Oh my God!
Right, here we go. You ready? This is 4 lines. This one. Right. Collaboration.
Okay, let's hear the third one.
Collaboration. Well, go back. Collaboration seems to be a recurring theme in your work, whether it's with other photographers, artists, or communities you photograph.
Don't collaborate.
How do these collaborations influence your creative process, and what do you believe they bring to the final outcome of your project?
ChatGPT is lying. I don't collaborate. How do you collaborate with photographers?
My questions were much better.
Your questions are great. ChatGPT, man, I thought it's more advanced. People are just telling fairy tales about ChatGPT, and it's actually dumb. Still dumb.
I think there's something in that. And I'll tell you what I think it is. You do collaborate with people. You collaborate with doesn't matter whether it's a woman with bananas in her ears, or it's some Thai boxer, or it's some AK-47 guys. There's that sort of collaboration.
You can call that collaboration. If that's a collaboration, yeah. But they give you what you need, basically. Like any kind of photography, whether it's fashion or commercial or this or that or sports. The point is in your subject or model or talent, giving you what you need. And it usually happens on some energy level. Again, it's not something you communicate with words, or it either happens or it doesn't happen. And usually it does happen. If that's a collaboration, then I do collaborate with people a lot.
I'm going to move away from that now. I noticed on YouTube you were doing some wet plate collodion with your mask on.
Yeah.
What's that about? Is there anything, are we going to do anything with this before you poison yourself?
Look, I did so many of these plates. Demons. I had this series called Demons, and then Angels as well. I have so many of these plates, and my camera is 11 by 14 inch wet plate camera that a friend of mine made it for me based on these drawings from, I don't know, 19th century.
Yeah.
The camera is falling apart. The plate holder is falling apart because these chemicals are so poisonous and so unforgiving in a way. They go through anything. They destroy everything. Brass, wood. So my camera is not really functional right now. And frankly, that project, that wet plate collodion project, never really took me anywhere. I was just doing it because it's amazing, because the quality of these images, the three-dimensional thing, the aura that basically they capture, I think, is priceless. But that project never took me anywhere. There's no book, nothing. I mean, I had a couple of exhibitions, but that was 13, 14 years ago when I just started with the project.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing ever happened with it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you're going to keep doing it. Probably not.
One thing I do notice about everything you're working on, who represents you? You've got an agent.
Yeah, but I have an agent, commercial agent in New York.
Yeah.
And I have an agent in Shanghai. But usually clients come to me, and then agent negotiates the job, because I'm not good at it. I don't think it's good being your own agent and negotiating the money part, because it's better to have a buffer between you and the client. I mean, I think it's necessary to have a buffer.
How many images do you think you've got scanned, Boogie, on all your hard drives? Go on, give us a rough estimate. Give us a rough estimate.
Oh my God, I have no clue. No, hundreds of, tens of thousands, I would say. More. I cannot even, I don't know. It's not thousands, it's tens of thousands at least. Yeah, tens.
Do you not ever think of putting them onto, say, Getty?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
Because then they become Getty. They become Getty. They're not Boogie.
What about people just wanting to buy the random images? Do they just come to you, or?
That can be done. Buying random images, buying prints, that's all doable. But not letting someone else deciding on the use of my stuff.
That's interesting.
That's
I like that. Okay. I see a lot of photographers fighting now on their images being used. They've got like 10,000 images in a picture library like Alamy or somewhere like that. And they're screaming to get, more money off the sales, whereas you're sitting there with 11 books worth of material and everything else on top of that, and you're not interested.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting.
I don't know. I wouldn't want someone else to decide how to use my image or to use my images to illustrate something I don't stand for. I don't think it's okay. I have to be in control of my own stuff.
That's interesting. I mean, obviously, you could be making a lot more money as well if they had that in there. Now, that's just the other argument.
I'm telling you, I'm not a good businessman. That's a fact.
Mm.
I'm good at clicking, taking pictures maybe, but business-wise, no. That's why I have an agent and I have someone else doing it for me.
There is platforms like Photo Shelter and Photo Deck where you just set it up yourself, put all your images on, and then people can buy them image straight away from you if you wanted to.
No, never heard of it. I never really heard of that.
We will talk offline, Boogie, about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
When you're in London, give us a shout and we'll have a beer. Or
I will. Oh, yeah, for sure, man. I'd love that.
I'd love that too, mate. Listen, I know you're really busy. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, man.
I'll be desperate to pick your brains for ages. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, man.
Boogie, it's been a pleasure, mate. All the best. Take care.
Likewise, man. You take care.
Take care, mate.